Hello, I'm Xander, and I just wanted to talk about why I think Wuthering Waves 2.0 update is so enjoyable and fun. Wuthering Waves 2.0 is one of the most fun I've had in gaming in a long while, but I mostly play gacha games, so that's not a very high bar in the first place, but still, it's very impressive how great this game feels. Firstly, I think they improved on everything they set out to do from the start of the game, and to be honest, it makes the 1.0 region feel a lot worse and less enjoyable, so I do hope they eventually fix the old regions, but it's not like any of us are really going back there except new players. But 2.0 just feels so great from so many aspects, as in the music, the scenery, the fighting, the combat, the characters, just the story, so much evolved. And I think you can really feel Kuro Games' passion making this update, and the fact that it almost feels like they wanted to make a game before a gacha, and I think it's a great thing. But again, anything before like 2.0, it felt very subpar, but 2.0 is just the quality of an AA game almost. It's astonishing how much there is, how much is done. I haven't even done it all, and one of my favorite things in games is exploring. Now, that could just be from laziness, or it could just be it's that much. And I think there's so many good things to say about it, but I think one of the main things that were the strongest part of all of it was the scenery and music and the flying. Without those three, I feel would have been a lot less enjoyable, because I think a game can have some of the greatest characters ever, but if there's not an atmosphere for those characters, an atmosphere of a world for you to explore, why would I care about those characters? Because a lot of people play these games for the characters and the exploration of a different world. So seeing a world as great as this is so just amazing. And I saw a lot of people like saying it strays away from when the game was at first, the post-apocalyptic. And it's like, that was always a stretch, and it was a while ago, and there's different regions. And it's been pointed out that this region is one of the most farthest ones from the post-apocalyptic field. And I feel that was a great decision on their part to stray away from that dullness, because it is undeniable that this was a soft relaunch, and they are trying to siphon off a lot of players from other games that are dissatisfied. So they need to add a little bit of the touches of those other games' worlds to put in this game to make it so they get all those players. And then they also see all the great other things of this game, and they're like, wow, this game's so cool and awesome. And also I feel you can really tell the evolvement of the story quality in the way that it felt like there wasn't much, just nothing. It felt like everything in the story was happening for a good reason. The only place I couldn't fully say this was that part of the old man. But I feel that's such a little dot in so many other things that it gets a little too much criticism. It isn't good at all. But it gets too much criticism compared to some of what some of the other games have, where you spend over 30 minutes on nothing. But again, every scene felt so quality. Sometimes I thought it was a cutscene, and then it was just animations. And in the cutscenes, I was like, wow, this is so awesome, what's happening? It was just so... it sucked me in really well. I did it in 2 parts, because I got tired of one part. And all of the story just was really late. But, it was just really impressive how well it was done. And I can admit, Kuro's story from the start of the game, it was dog shit. It was really bad. It was really rough. To the voice acting, to the story, to the scale, to the just everything. And it only got good in the final act. But I don't think a story is good if it's good in one half of the story and good in the other half. Because then it's just like, wow, I spent 50 minutes doing something that's really unenjoyable for 10 minutes of peak. That's just like, at that point I could just go on YouTube and watch it. There's no amount of build up and working towards it that would really make that valuable. And I think Kuro knew that and understood that. Because since 1.0, their story has been slowly evolving. I haven't done all of it, so I can't make my full opinion, but there's been so much great to it. And I think 2.0 just shows how well they done. And my favorite thing about 2.0 is how much the characters are involved in it. It feels like every character that was really shown had a good role in it, had a good point in it, and had a reason to be in it. Of course, there's some mainstays, and I think the weakest one was Phoebe. She felt like she didn't really do anything, but I feel like they're setting up for next patch of her story. And I can't wait for that. I'm so excited. I was so tired of these gacha games though, having this thing where it's these patch updates, and it's so great, then sudden cliffhanger. This story felt like it finished. I felt like I finished the story, and then I still wanted more. That is how you do it. You don't go, this story's great, we're about to get to the climax, oh, wait another 40 days. That just kills the hype, kills the enjoyment, kills so much about it. But wuwa did this greatly. And with the characters, it fixes this issue I had with so many of these character stories for so long. It feels like a character enters the main story when their banner releases, and then when their banner ends, it feels like they're just out of the story. And I feel like I see this so much. Some games don't have this, but only if it's a few mainstay characters, like very important characters to plot. But it's very, oh, this character's about to release, he's in story. His banner's about gone, oh, well, he's gotta go watch this place, gotta guard the fortress. Oh no, he's got sucked into a black hole. It's just, it's annoying, and I really hope wuwa doesn't do this, but it doesn't look like it by the fact they had so many characters in the start, and they're all relevant, instead of some being a little more important than others. I'd say the only one that was a little more important is Caroletta, but that, I'll give that one, that makes a little sense since she is the first character of the soft relaunch. But again, I really hope they continue doing that, and continue making every character feel important to the story, instead of right when one banner ends, they're out of the story, and then right when the banner starts, a new character and story to play. And I hope they keep the really personal stories to, of course, the story quest. But after ranting about story a lot, I could go on more, but I do want to keep this video a little concise about all my opinions. So I'm going to go into the next, which I think is the world. The world feels so fleshed out, which I'm so impressed by. Not from the fact the old region didn't feel this fleshed out, but from the fact we have gliders and it feels like the world is still big. Cause whenever a game developer looks at gliders, they have two fears. Either the game becomes too easy and it's just so easy to explore the world feels small, or then it just feels like the world is so empty to match up for the fact of they have a glider. But wuwa perfectly balances while making it really enjoyable to do midway, by adding spots you know you can travel to, spots you know you can go, gliding challenges, who doesn't love those, the world very big but also somewhat empty, and that's why there's so many little hot spots you gotta go for all these rewards. And I think another big thing is echo farming helps so much in this, in the fact you're flying around, oh yeah, so awesome, and then you're like, oh, there's that echo I need, beat his ass, hop back up, into the air, next, like a fighter jet going in for its prey, you know? It's awesome. It feels so good. It feels so refreshing that I can just feel so free compared to the little limp ass bitch glider that I have originally. Like, in the old world, whenever you're doing that, it feels so depressing. Like, I feel like I was a bird shot down when I'm in, like, Gionzo anymore. But again, also I think while I was in Exploration, they did another big thing, which I was really hoping they did, is they added, I'm walking around or flying around, I see this cool ass thing in the distance, I want to go there. This is a big thing big exploration games do, where they just go, let's put this really cool thing in the distance, and then people will see that, go, let's go to that, that's awesome, go to that, then they see another big thing when they're going somewhere else, and then repeat. Old wuwa Old wuwa before 2.0 had some of this, but it was very basic because all there really was bosses, the city, and some mountains. There wasn't any really places you're like, oh, I gotta go there, I gotta see that. But in Rinacita, you look over, big ass tower that's hanging off nothing, it feels like. These three, like, towers, but a giant purple ring in the sky. In the distance, we got the Elden Ring tree. In the far, we got a little island that's, like, looks half destroyed and thunderclouds surround it. In the other side, we got a giant mountain with a dragon skeleton on it. Then you go there, and guess what? There's a dragon. Like, and then you go more deeper. There's a little pirate grove. There's cities. There's towns. There's little echo city. It's like, there's so much to it. And the story quests too are so great in the world. A lot of the story quests, I like the fact you just kind of completed them while exploring. Like the night one was a great example. You learned at least little tidbits about night lore without having to do much. And then you got echoes out of it. And you also just did it over time. And then eventually when you find that island, you're like, oh wait, these are some of the swords I got. That's what they're for. And then now you go and explore the rest and you complete it and you're like, wow, that's just fucking awesome. Because you just did all that while exploring. The only really fully on story quest I feel was that one City in the Sky one, or the Sky one, which I think was brilliant. I felt like I was playing Tears of the Kingdom. It's just really impressive how much they've done with the world and how fleshed out it feels. There's no point that I really feel like they didn't know what they were doing here. Everywhere in the world, I feel like I'm exploring and I'm looking at something pretty. And another great thing I think I did so well was the bosses. The bosses feel so good. The Sentry Construct feels like I'm fighting a Monster Hunter boss. And then the difficulty 6 hologram for the Fallacy of No Return. That was hell. I was going insane during that fight. I beat it, but I was going insane. And I love that. I like it when these games feel like a challenge and not hard to be hard. That's what I didn't like about Inferno Rider. It felt like it was hard to be hard. These two bosses feels like you can learn, and the challenge over time you will beat it. Compared to say like Thundering Memphis Hologram 6 or Inferno Rider Hologram 6. How many times can you press the dodge button, you know? Or have Jinshi for the Inferno Rider, then you just win. But and then we haven't even seen all the other bosses. The L'Oreal fight is gorgeous. She's such a cool design. I mean, just big shorekeeper. The music in it is just so good. And now far, the dragon over there, the boss music's awesome there. And I mean, it's the dragon. It's like the Lego set. It's awesome. And there's just so much more, and I can't wait to see how much more they evolve the bosses. Because I think the two main things in this game, I slowly do feel like we're leaning away from a lot of people playing the game for the combat. But again, I'm so happy that I was scared at this point at the beginning, because it felt like for a while the combat was slowly getting side graded. But now it feels like it's coming back. It feels like the combat is a big focus too, but if you never want to do the combat, you'll barely ever be affected by it. Since like the overall bosses for your the stuff you need for your characters, it's pretty easy if you just can dodge at least 3 times, you know. And I really hope they keep going in a direction and keep adding more unique kits and unique bosses, because I think you could have the most unique boss ever, but if you're not fighting it in a way you want to or a way you're kind of fun with, then it's not as awesome. I think at least some customizability is always awesome, because it's what you're more comfortable as and you feel cooler with it, which I hope Wuwa keeps evolving their characters to be more unique playstyles instead of sticking to one type of playstyle. But I feel like they've done really well this. No character in that game really feels the same on the limited, other than say Yinlin and Zeshi. But I think that's just because they're off-field supports. And then Sheng Liao feels very different. Caroletta feels very different. Jinshi feels very different. Cheng Li feels very different. Jian feels very different. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but I have no clue. So, my bad if I forgot one. But again, it's just such high quality from so many aspects that how could you not love this game for everything it is? Because in 1.0, I can agree, there was so many flaws, so many things. It was really annoying. It was so many things I wish I had but never had. But in this update, it just gave me so much of what I wanted. It felt so just great. Because I was excited for 2.0, really excited. But I didn't expect this at all. And I just can't wait to play more, see where the game goes, hopefully win my 50/50s, maybe get 70 copies of Brand, cause he's a... Okay, quick rant. I think this is my final one of my likes before I end the video, before I just kind of go off rail. But the characters are all so great. They did such a good job with all the new characters. Carlotta set the standard for gun characters in gacha overall games, I feel like. Like, you can't telling me after playing Carlotta, you want to sit there, stand back, and hold back your trigger button to aim. No, you want to be in there shooting their face. You want to be locking them down. And then Rokia looks fun as everything. We have Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia. And just like, how do you not like that? It's just funny. And it's just, she looks really strong as well. Hopefully I win my 50 on her. 50/50 on her. Prage. But, and then Phoebe looks interesting. She's definitely my least favorite, but again, I think that's because we got so little of her in the story. And spoilers, but later in the story, kind of just a better looking version of her comes out. And yeah. And then I think the two highlights for me are Zanny and Brant. Oh my god, these like characters are like perfect. They're like everything I want in game characters. Zanny is Zanny, and the fact she has an accent is just so cool. And I'm just imagining how cool she's gonna fight. But then whom I'm really even more excited for, Brant. It's a pirate. I love pirates and cowboys. So seeing one of these in a game I play, in a game I really like, makes me so happy. I love pirates so much, and Branch is so cool at the same time. Like, it's Brant, you know? Okay, one thing, I think they kind of bummed his name out. The name Brant is boring as everything. But again, he's so cool. And there's such a quality of all this writing too. Again, Phoebe's the weakest, but again, I think that's just because not enough time for her. But Rokia, even without little screen time, big impact. Brand, even if not the craziest amount of screen time, big impact. Carlotta, definitely big impact, but she got a lot, and it was felt. Zanny, I mean, she's Zanny, big impact, in many ways. But it felt so great. Such an enjoyable update playing. I have some complaints, but this is just a video about how much I like about it, and there's so much more I could say. But then I'd just be ranting and eventually lose my train of thought.
A wise investment.
Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope my voice wasn't too annoying. And hopefully I keep getting passion to make videos like these, because they're not bad, it's just... their effort. Yeah, their effort.